Next, ladies and gentlemen, we highlight the transformative role of communication and digital tools in empowering youth. To take us through this session, please welcome to the stage Nimi, Mehta, TV host and founder of SPKR, Tarek, co-founder and managing partner at AlYousuf. Along with them is NourAldin, AlYousuf, TV presenter, content creator and life coach, and your moderator, Muna Suleiman, social media influencer and founder of Blink Cosmetics.
Where do we sit?
Where does Mona want to sit?
I have no idea.
Because Mona has two people right now. Are you sure?
It's better, yes.
Okay.
Perfect. Hello, everyone. We need some audience here. Whomever is free, come over, guys.
I think there's an extra mic here, right? Or there?
There is actually.
Thank you.
4 mics.
Bismillah. Let's start. Thank you so much for giving me opportunity to moderate this session with very, mashallah, famous businessmen and social media as well. My name is Muna Suleiman. I'm social media influencer from Ras Al Khaimah. And today we will talk basically about the social impact and how this social impact thing is affecting the society and the generation. So I will start first with Nimi. See, I would not love to go with the questions that I have, but I have a basic question for you. As long as you have a business and you are giving and empowering women to talk and to break the barriers and to come out from their comfort zone, can you give us an idea that how you work and how you manage these kind of situations with the women who have no personalities to have a personality, and how this is impacting socially to the society?
Yeah, thank you so much for the question. Thank you to Forbes. And I mean, how cool is this? I love that I'm sharing the stage with all of you. To start, I think that every individual is different. So my approach is quite bespoke. However, I was a girl once upon a time. I am a woman now, and I am lived experience of someone who went from having absolutely no voice and being so shy, so timid, so insecure, to now being a 33-year-old woman who has a TV show, who's hosting the biggest stages across the region. And I say that very proudly. And so what I created was somewhat of a blueprint that actually women or men all over the world can actually start to not just become a better public speaker. I think that's the end result. I think when you're working on your public speaking or, you know, communicating who you are to the world, I think it has to start with your inner pillars and your confidence. And you need to have clarity first on what you stand for. I can probably very comfortably say all of us on this stage know what we stand for. We know who we are. We know our pillars. And so how I started was to start to recognize my pillars. And I did that by just doing like a top 3 pillars. I identified mine as confidence, authenticity, and empowerment. And so for me, everything that I did after that, not just as a human, as a daughter, as a wife, or as a sister, but also as an entrepreneur and who is on TV, is that everything that I do has to align with those pillars. So I think clarity is really important. And I think that that's what people struggle with at the beginning. How can you communicate who you are if you yourself don't know who you are? And then I think the next step is believing it. Because I think that believing it is such a hurdle, right? And again, how can others be convinced by who you are if you aren't sure yourself? So believing it. I know a lot of people say fake it till you make it. I really don't like that saying. Because,
oh, me too. I second that.
Yeah, thank you, Noor. I agree, because I think that people then stay away from it and they're like, oh, I don't want to be fake. I don't want to be fake. I've changed that a bit, and I like to say be it till you become it, because that's how I did it. I approached every single thing that I did with just believing I can do it, and it ended up coming to fruition.
I totally agree with you regarding the fakeness, because as a social media influencer, even Noor, maybe you also faced that one, that we face like very perfect people in the life that you are a doubt on yourself that you are fake or real. So this is like, I'm totally agreeing with you that to be real in the personality is one pillar that you can be confident. Going back to Noor. Actually, Noor, I'm a fan of your podcast.
Oh,
I
thank you.
used to see the
Thank you.
podcast and the people you add and the value that impact on the social media as well. I will ask you something about the podcast. How the podcast channels, especially like, now everyone, they are having their own podcast and they are having their own mentality. They are talking like not in a limit as well. And there are even good podcasts, bad podcasts, and people are sometimes taking it very serious. So according to your experience and your like you're choosing a path which is really important in UAE as well. So podcast channel, how it's impacting social media and the new generation.
Thank you very much. I would love to thank Forbes for the opportunity. Oh. Hi, Haifa. Thank you. Fun fact, I don't really think of the audience more than thinking of my growth. This is my path. So after a few years in media, only 27 years, I was like, I need to do my own thing. I don't want to be under any TV station's umbrella, with all of respect. I faced lots of rejection before, like, we don't want you to do this, we want you to do that. So cornering me was a challenge for me all of my life until now. So when someone corners me, I get outside this shell and I try to do something different. The idea of the show, podcast, whatever you call it, what you want to call it, came to my mind when I started my spirituality 2 years ago. And I was like, there are nothing on media that speaks about spirituality the proper way, because there is a stigma about spirituality. They think it's a voodoo, magic, whatever. You call it whatever. Thank you, Haifa, again. She actually supports me. Haifa Bsiso! So why not talking about it on social media since TV stations? Sorry, I'm wearing my sunglasses. That's rude. So I started the show, and I didn't expect this impact. It's impacting me more than impacting the audience, and I'm growing with the podcast. Tomorrow will be my 24th episode. Inshallah, I'm going to continue forever. What's nice about the podcast, at the beginning, people were rejecting the quantum healing I'm doing. If I tell my guests, close your eyes and imagine something and just go to the field, they're like, what's this? This is stupid. Shu hal ghaba, all these things. And I used to laugh. But now, actually, they're very interested, and the audience are suggesting to cut it and put it as, a separate segment on YouTube, so they can do the healing with my guests. So it makes me so happy. I expected the show to take a year before it makes a difference. I believe the second episode made lots of difference since the second episode. So I'm so thankful. I'm grateful to God. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. And I spent lots of years in media to understand what do I want exactly, what's right for me, and what's right for the audience at the same time. So I'm trying to plant a seed in everyone, whomever sees or hear the podcast, even for a few minutes, that you have to connect with yourself. Closing your eyes is not dumb. Connecting to your heart is not dumb. This is the best gift you can give to yourself.
Wallah, I agree with you, Noor, because first of all, I salute your rejection, because that rejection keep you going on, honestly. That's what I was facing before 7 years, before I come to this platform. When someone rejects you, that never means that you don't have the potential to grow. That means you have something very amazing that they cannot see. So you can grow by yourself. Regarding the podcast, like, everyone is having podcasts, but the thing which make your podcast special is the guests. I saw the quality of the guests who are coming to your...
Thank you again. Thank you.
Yeah, really, like, some of them, they never
I'm not
come
good
to
with compliments.
No, because I saw it, and I have a podcast channel which says Tajarubi Tgul, which means Tajarubi Talks. Tajarubi means experiences in Arabic. But that's so, like, not at the stage that what you are working on. So that's why I feel like it's really good, the connection, a spiritual connection with yourself, because it matters. It's changed your life. It's a game changer in the podcast channels as well. Going back to Iz, because mashallah, Iz, they are having a business, and that business is also social impact as a part of the community. So Iz, I would like to ask you, like, how can young entrepreneurs leverage the power of social media and compelling the content to transform homegrown brands to a global success? I know that build brands are really difficult, and they are always to a rejection, honestly. But alhamdulillah, in UAE, we have a platform that they never reject. Half of the famous brands start with the homegrown. So we would like to know your experience and how it's socially impacting it.
Sure. Hi guys, I'm Tarek. I'm the co-founder of In Your Shoe. In Your Shoe is a homegrown brand. We're from Egypt. Thank you.
The name is so unique, guys.
So unique and attractive.
Thank you so much. Actually, it's called In Your Shoe because in the beginning we only started with selling socks. Now it's a full fashion brand. Me and my partner Amr, we started with like 8 designs on socks, and we just created an Instagram account. We rented a balcony from our friends, and this is how we started. And this is why we're grateful for social media. I know we hear a lot, or we know a lot of negative stuff that happens because of social media, but let's all agree that there's a lot of positives. If it wasn't for social media, many of us won't succeed in a lot of things that they wanted to.
We wouldn't be here today, I don't think.
Yeah, definitely. So there's a lot of positives about social media. And actually, I met my partner, Amr. He was like a friend of mine, but he just texted me on an Instagram story while I was posting the sample I did for the first socks I made. I just received it from the factory and I started wearing it, and I was a bit like chill. There was like this kind of satisfaction I got when I received the sample. But Amr texted me on the story and he was like, man, we need to start a business. I think there's a potential in our market. And this is literally how we started through an Instagram stories. So that's why we really appreciate social media. Yeah. So I think that young entrepreneurs can definitely leverage from their Instagram accounts, Facebook accounts, TikTok or whatever, because this is where it all starts. And I think it's very important for everyone, for all businesses, to tackle this storytelling technique, because sometimes we find people attracted to the process of making the product more than just seeing the product itself. If we post content for the process of the creation, people like the storytelling. I think it was if you look at it hundreds or thousands of years back, this is how people were entertained. Someone sits and people surround him and he starts telling stories. So if you always make sure of that your content is definitely has this storytelling thing, it will definitely reach out to more people. I think storytellers are good businessmen. Storytellers are good salesmen. And if you're a good storyteller, you have so much to say. Definitely, if you have an engaging content. Sometimes we ask customers about stuff that we already know that we're going to make, but we just want customers to have this feeling of that they're involved, like picking a fabric or picking a design or a color or stuff like that. So I think, yes, if you just want to leverage from your social media accounts as a business, you need to always make sure that you are a good storyteller. You need to have engaging content. If you're engaging your customers, they're going to love the brand more than just the product. And then consistency for every business. If you're not consistent, this is going to kill your business. I mean, you have a beautiful podcast, but what if you just started with 1 episode, 2 episodes, and then you stopped? I think consistency is definitely what makes a business successful.
I do agree with this. First, as regarding the storytelling, I believe, because I'm a fan of Huda Beauty, and I saw her how she started. If I never saw her journey, I might not buy her product. So I do agree this storytelling is a big game changer in the business life. And regarding the podcast channel, I do agree with you. Actually, I started 2 episodes and I stopped because I got pregnant, and I was like, you know, that like you don't like anything in pregnancy. So one of the dislikes was my podcast channel. So I stopped it. And when I wanted to start again, it was very hard for me to do it. But I'm in a challenge with myself that I can do it. And next year I'm rebranding it. So that's like a spirit. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay.
You're doing great.
Yeah.
I think we need round of applause for
We all
Haifa.
love you.
She's the best. Thank you, Haifa.
Going back to Nimi, because it's very hard to convince a woman, of course guys knows, to do something positive sometimes, because when you want to do something, you will do it, even if it's wrong sometimes. So according to you, like how are you dealing with the, like how can you program the mentality of a woman who's having a confidence, coming to the society, showcasing her products or whatever business she have, how to program her mentality to not face the negative people who doesn't want her to be in that platform? Honestly, this is a question, like I keep ask all businesswomen, like sometimes I'm in a platform that no one likes me, and it's a negative vibe, and I want to talk and they will cut me off because they don't want me to grow. So how you can deal with that, and how can socially it impacts their personality as well?
I think that's such an important question and transcends through genders, I think, for women and for men. I would like to say that if you don't hold the space for yourself, nobody is going to hold the space for you, right? So it's about how you step into that space. So if you are someone who struggles to communicate who you are to the world, if you feel like you are someone who seems to be in environments that don't bring the best out of you, what I did, and this was such a common thing for me, I experienced this day in, day out, majority of my life, I actually created an alter ego. And this was kind of like this external persona of the ideal person I want to be one day. Characteristics, I listed them out. I listed out my confidence heroes. Oprah, you know, a TV host in the UK that I really look up to. Roger Federer, how he walks onto the court. So many different people that I admired in the way that they present themselves. And I was so specific. I think the problem is we believe we want to be someone. But how specific do you need to get? I want you to get into the details. Does anybody watch Suits, the program? One of the best programs ever. I am obsessed with Donna in Suits from the way she walks into every room she's in. And when I watch Suits, these are the kind of things I look for. When I watch a TV show or movie or any room that I'm in, I just soak in the way people are, and I take it as inspiration, not imitation. You know, and so I started to build my alter ego based on people who inspire me. And you know, sometimes things don't stick. It was a trial and error process. I started watching these YouTube videos from a girl called Lily Singh, who is in the US, and she's huge. And she does like comedy skits. And so I started doing comedy skits on YouTube, and I realized that really does not align with my personality. But I tried it. So now I know that doesn't work. Other things did work. So it is that process of finding who you are. And then second to that question is being in environments that potentially people do want to bring you down, or that's kind of like their mission to do so. I think all of us can relate to that in some capacity. I've got to a stage now where I almost expect it. I almost expect it, not in an incredibly cynical way, but in a way that is just the reality of life. Not everybody is going to like you. Not everybody is going to align with you. There's going to be some people in this crowd that don't agree with everything that I say. I'm okay with that. I'm not here to please everyone, because back to my first answer, which was I know my pillars. I know who I am, and I will show up as that person. Some people will take, some people won't. So that mentality of not wanting to please everyone, and that it's okay, I will take this risk, I will step out of my comfort zone. And when you expect this negative energy or these kind of negative influence of external voices, I think it's holding true and standing firm on who you are that will help you push through day in, day out, again coming down to consistency, showing up for yourself.
True. You know, because that's the way that when you have a pillars in the beginning, that you know what you are doing, so you will ignore every negative things that happens to you. That's how we program ourselves initially. So this is a message all for the women out there who are afraid to come out because they feel like this person will not like me, this person will like cut me down. So you have to think, we are in 2024, so you have to think about yourself first.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to add to that when you were talking about, you know, these things that people say about you, I started to frame it so that my inner critic, you know, that voice that we always have inside of us that says, you can't do it. Oh, there's no way it's you. I got asked to be on this stage today, and the first thing I said to my sister was, do they think I'm someone else? That's my inner voice. That's my inner critic trying to convince me that I'm not worthy. What I started to do was convince myself that all those people around me that have these negative voices are trying to be that, you know, that poison that tries to seep inside of you. That's how I see it now. And so I'm even more resistant against it. I will hold my own to just fight against it. So I think that's a really good mentality shift.
Thank you, Nimi.
Thanks, Heva.
Noor, coming back to you, as she said, that the negative comments, people, and all this stuff, it will affect one day our personality, a little bit between us, like me and my personality. I can see even in the podcast, why I'm concentrating in the podcast, because now it's a trend. And people like loving podcast channels more than the TV programs. And according to what you faced when you started your podcast channel, I know that you get many comments from the people like, why you're adding this personality? Why she is in your podcast channel? She not worth it? I can see the comments sometimes when you're putting
trust
the
me.
podcast. So I'm like,
Lots of fun.
yeah, I'm like, how can we handle these things? Because, you know, like everyone is following you, like the younger generation, grandmothers, grandfathers, really like mothers, teenagers. So when they will see this comment, of course it affects, like if they want to have a podcast channel, they will see like, no, I will not have it because I cannot handle this one. Like Noor, for example. And every time you cannot close the comments. You have to have the comments for the engagement. So how can you handle this thing and how it's impacting your podcast channel and idea and mentality?
As I mentioned earlier, at the beginning, it was a bit annoying because whatever I want to send, I'm not receiving what I'm expecting. Again, so I eliminated expectations and I let people to express their opinion. It's their opinion. So basically, if you say something about my show, it's your own problem. It's not my problem. So my intention was I would let people to connect with a favorite character that they like. At the same time, they can ask these questions to themselves and they can grow. So it's a personal growth journey. So if you don't like it, it means there is something in you. If something is triggering you from the questions, it means you need to fix something inside you. And again, as she said, we cannot please everyone. And I used to be people pleaser like 10 years ago when I was 30. So I was like, I have to make everyone happy. Everyone needs to like me. And now I don't care if you like me or not. I care if I like myself or not. And loving yourself. And thank you. Wallah, you're the best. She gets a limousine. تستاهل سيارة مثل ما يقولوا. So basically when you start loving yourself, you don't see those comments as something very negative. You take them as a challenge. And what is he trying to say? What is she trying to say? Let them say their opinion. What used to trigger me is comparison. They used to compare me to someone or to one of the shows. And it used to trigger me. But now I feel like everyone stands out in his own way. And as you mentioned, there are so many podcasts. Let it be. If it's good podcast or bad podcast, I don't decide. Not even the audience decide, because it depends. We have so many tastes and so many topics. And I mean, the platform is over there for anyone. You want to try, just try, let it be. I mean, I started media in 1997, and there were so many TV presenters back then, and they used to try, and whomever kept on going is the person who has the passion to it, and who wants to send something, who wants to learn something. So I don't believe that we should focus on those comments more. Like, I don't see them nowadays, especially in TikTok, because the generation is younger, which I respect. TikTok generation is completely different than my generation. I'm 41 now. So I try to perceive them, to understand them, the Gen Zs, as they say. I think there is another generation right now. I try to understand them, to see a middle ground in my show. But I noticed that they just like to have fun. So if you want to have fun on your own way. So I actually insist on commenting back, replying back to negative comments in a funny way on TikTok specifically, to see if I'm going to trigger their curiosity to watch my show or not. So there's always a way to deal with it.
You know, like I'm even 35 years old, and
We're all under 30, huh?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. That's
We're all here under 30, guys.
You know, I have my nephew and nieces. They are like Gen Z. I don't know what generation is it. Like when sometimes I do something, like it's really, they are like laughing at me, like why you are doing like this, and you know,
Cringe.
Then you feel like even the wordings, you know, the wordings are really different than our generation. So
It's like me. It took me years to understand what goat means. I had no idea.
She's here also, my niece, and she's from the same generation, and I know after this session what she will tell me. So, okay. Coming back to Az, I would like to know the strategies you guys are working on to inspire the new generation to open up a business like home business and to grow it up.
You mean when we talk like to people who wants to start their business?
To start the business from the home.
Well, I believe that there's a lot of things that you can't learn unless you start doing it. I mean, you can't learn how to like ride a bicycle while reading a book about bicycles. You definitely need like to get on a bicycle and fall like several times, and then you just find out how to ride it. So one of the things we always try to make sure young entrepreneurs know when they come talk to me or my partner Amr is that starting is one of the hardest things. Like you were saying, you once started your podcast, and then just when you want to start it again, it feels like you're just still doing it from the beginning. I believe the first step is the hardest one, because when you just like break the fact that you're not doing it, and then you start doing it. You just, like get over the hardest part.
It's scary at the beginning, trust me. It's always scary.
And there's a lot of questions, questions, and you just wait for the perfect time, and you never find the perfect time. There's
no
nothing
perfect
called
time.
perfect time.
That's so true.
Yeah. So you just need to start, and then you'll figure out a lot of stuff after starting your business. And then I think that you need to work on if you're just doing a product or a service, you need to have a perfect product, you need to have a perfect service, because this is what's going to make people come back to you as a business. But then one of the most powerful things that I personally admire, and not most of the people, take care of, is that people need to have a connection with the brand more than the product or the service you make. In order to remember the brand or to remember your business, it doesn't happen by just having a good product or service. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you can make as a brand. Or I mean, let's think of M&Ms, for example. There's this, like characters that you just have this playful connection with. But I'm not a big fan of the product itself, but when they're always playful, you just feel happy when they see them. At In Your Shoe, there's a lot of things that we did that, we tried to stress on like causes or social causes more than just selling a product. We do like collabs with, once did a collab with Magdi Yaoub Heart Foundation. I'm not sure if you're familiar with or not, but it's one of the biggest heart foundations in Egypt. We did a collab, like a limited edition design. Yeah. We did like a limited edition design. 100% of the profits goes to Magdi Yaoub, and this is just because we wanted people to understand that there's a cause. We once did a T-shirt. It says it's called Palestine. It's called Palestine is one of the most thank you. One of the best-selling T-shirts. 100% of the profits goes to Palestine. We wanted to make a statement, and I believe that these are the things that businesses and brands should definitely be doing in order to create a very good connection with the customers and the business, not just the service or the product.
Are you interested to do something with my podcast?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, great. I'm looking for a nice product
Done.
for the podcast.
Yeah,
Done.
definitely.
We'll speak after the session.
Okay. Last not least, like I would like to thank you for joining me today in this session, and I hope that was light and insightful for the people who are here. Just one questions last, like for everyone, starting from Noor. Noor, one quote that you think that you believe on it and you would like people to know about it because it's inspiring.
Of course, be yourself all the time. Get to know yourself. If you don't know yourself, you know nothing about life.
Right.
That's it.
Nimi?
I would say you are exactly where you are meant to be. Even when you are at your lowest times, you're meant to be there. Embrace it. Better times are coming. And when you are experiencing a high, accept it. What we spoke about earlier.
Surrender.
Receive it.
And
Surrender. You are exactly where you are meant to be.
As?
Well, actually, I like that in the middle of every difficulty lies opportunity. I think that opportunities is always like come when you're so down and there's a lot of difficulties, and you're the smartest one if you just catch it.
Wrapping up with one quote, keep shining because you deserve the positive and better place to grow up. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
You want to ask? Okay, we have one question. Maybe we can have, Okay. My quote, oh yeah, she knows me very well, but my quote every time is, if you dream to fly with eagles, don't waste your time by swimming with ducks. Yeah, I have it from
I
University
love that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.